Hello and welcome back to another deep dive. Today we're taking a really fascinating look into one listener's very personal story. It's a journey covering his spiritual search, his history, and some quite incredible past life connections. Our mission really is to pull out the key insights from his detailed account, the questions he had and the profound answers he got back. It's quite a story. Spans continents, generations, even different kinds of existence. Lots of lessons in here about karma, family, forgiveness.
Indeed, it does. In this case, it gives us a really unique window into how past actions, well, they echo through our lives, don't they?
Yeah.
Sometimes subtly, sometimes
Yeah.
not so
So let's
subtly.
see.
What's really fascinating here is tracing that intricate web, cause and effect, and seeing how personal understanding, how that can really open the door to healing and real spiritual growth.
Okay, so let's unpack this. It's quite an incredible story. You'll hear about this man, an Australian, who found his spiritual home over in Thailand, but his journey there was anything but straightforward. So our listener, born in Sydney, Australia,
Mm.
he talks about this deep spiritual search he was on for a long time before he even ended up in Southeast Asia.
Mm.
After years looking, he finally found his spiritual home, as he puts it, at the Dhammakaya Meditation Center in Thailand. That's a community, as you know, focused on inner peace, connecting with the Dhammakaya, the inner Buddha.
Beginner knowing.
And he remembers this really profound aha moment the first time he visited, just feeling like this is it, this is the place.
That's significant.
For over 3 years now, he and his Thai wife have been really involved, making merit that central Buddhist practice of, good deeds, accumulating positive energy, joining in temple activities. A real sense of belonging there.
And that aha
Yeah.
moment you mentioned, it's so important because it wasn't just out of the blue, right? It sounds like the end point of a lifelong spiritual hunger.
Yeah.
He was raised Christian, but he mentioned the teachings just didn't quite click for him, left him feeling unfulfilled.
That's right.
So that led him to travel, explore Asian beliefs, and concepts like reincarnation. These broader spiritual ideas, they finally resonated deep down.
Hmm.
It really shows how often we find our true spiritual path only after a lot of searching, when we finally hit on something that gives us that comprehensive understanding we needed.
And his early life certainly wasn't smooth sailing. He grew up poor, faced constant bullying at primary school, said he often came home bruised. Just paints a picture of a really tough start.
A real struggle. And this challenging childhood, it really highlights the role of his grandmother. She sounds like quite a character.
Oh, definitely.
A kind religious woman, fundamentally against harming anyone, but she had this very strong philosophy. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth.
Quite the contrast.
Absolutely. And in an unexpected move, she personally taught him boxing for self-defense. Her training worked. Soon, nobody dared bully him. But the flip side was he ended up with few friends, except maybe those wanting his protection. It's this fascinating duality, isn't it? Her gentle side and this fierce, protective teaching shows how even good intentions can have complex results.
And get this, his grandmother actually believed he was her deceased son reincarnated.
Really?
Yeah, it shows this deep, almost gut-level connection she had to the idea of reincarnation, even with her traditional religious background. That bond clearly helped him through those tough years. And despite all that, he did well in school, won awards, and then had this incredibly varied career. Underwater surveyor,
Wow.
a pilot, designing training systems for nurses, even a university advisor later on.
Quite a resume.
Then later in life, he married an Australian woman. But this first marriage, it lasted 22 years, and he describes it as mostly unhappy, estranged. Very different backgrounds, you see. His humble beginnings versus her more privileged, sort of extravagant upbringing created a real divide.
Yeah, that can be tough.
He said they stayed together for the children. A familiar story for many, I think.
And during that time, that first marriage, it's pretty clear he felt a real lack of meaning. He tried to escape, threw himself into work, hobbies like diving, flying, using them as distractions, really.
Right, filling a void.
Exactly. That period of looking for fulfillment outside, feeling a bit adrift, it really points towards his eventual divorce, which was amicable, he says, and then his later journey into self-discovery and spiritual awakening. It shows that deep down, there was this drive to find purpose beyond the surface, even if he wasn't consciously aware it was spiritual yet.
But his second marriage brought him real joy. He married a Thai woman, and he talks about the strong desire to care for her and her 2 kids from a previous marriage. Bought them a house, set up a small business for her, clearly found happiness in being a provider, a protector.
A very different dynamic.
Very different. Now, let's shift gears a bit to a more difficult part of his story concerning his parents, because these are the deep questions that really pushed his spiritual search forward. His father was in the Australian Navy, an officer, often away at sea, left his mother raising the kids. Then a tragic event hit his father's career. 6 teenagers, including his father's younger brother, apparently took his ship out and disappeared, just vanished.
Oh, my goodness.
And the father got blamed, unjustly it seems, led to him leaving the Navy.
What a blow. And his life didn't get easier, did it? He joined the army, fought in North Africa, ended up a POW in Germany.
Right. And then that awful mix-up with the American soldier using his dad's uniform and ID to try and escape.
Only to get caught and killed, leading the family back home to think he was dead.
Exactly. Such layers of tragedy. And this leads to the devastating part about his mother, the part that caused our listeners so much pain and resentment for years. Believing her husband was dead, she felt overwhelmed. She left the children with the grandmother who, remember, was loving and capable, and moved to Sydney.
A desperate situation for her.
Terribly. And years later, his aunt told him the harsh truth. His mother had become a sex worker. She just felt she couldn't cope with raising 2 children alone under those circumstances. And it's these deep emotional wounds, this sense of abandonment and the shock of his mother's path that really fueled his search for answers through spirituality. So what did the karmic insights reveal about his parents' paths, their fates?
Well, this is where the teachings offer a very stark but ultimately compassionate perspective. It suggests that even painful abandonment can reflect past actions. Not as punishment, you understand, but as a karmic mirror, a chance to learn to break cycles through forgiveness and merit.
Okay.
Regarding his father, after he passed away at 78 from lung cancer linked to heavy drinking and smoking, the insight received was that he went to the 5th grade hell, Mahanarakam number 5. That's one of the deepest, most intense hell realms in Buddhist cosmology.
Oh.
Yes. There, his suffering is immense. His mind was clouded, dark at the moment of death. He's tormented by the Nirayabal, the hell guardians, forced to drink hot black acid and ash, dying, being reborn there over and over again in agony, unable to think of anyone else, lost in his suffering.
That's incredibly intense. And his mother?
His mother, after her difficult life, she ended up in the 3rd great hell, Mahanarakam 3. This was due to the karma of sexual misconduct, what's called kami in the teachings. There, she's being tormented with hot iron instruments, unimaginable suffering.
So both parents in states of extreme suffering.
Extremely. But it's crucial to understand the karmic reason why he and his sister experienced that abandonment. The teaching explains it was a direct consequence of their own past karma.
Their own? How so?
In a previous life, our listener was apparently a traveling man. He had wives in different places, and he abandoned the children from those unions. His sister, similarly, in an earlier life, gave away her child after her husband died and moved away, didn't look back. So these past actions created the conditions for them to experience abandonment in this life.
Wow, that's a heavy realization.
It is. And importantly, it was clarified that their mother did love them. Her decision wasn't from a lack of love, but from desperation. She genuinely believed they'd be better off with a grandmother who she knew was loving and capable. So it's this complex mix or difficult choice compounded by their own past karma ripening at that time.
That's a really complex picture. Love, desperation, past karma, all tangled up. But, okay, for someone carrying decades of deep resentment, just hearing let go feels, well, almost impossible sometimes. Are there practical steps, maybe beyond just the core practices, to help someone cultivate that release when the pain is so deep?
That's a really vital point, because understanding the karma is step 1, but actually changing those deep emotional habits is the real work, isn't it?
Exactly.
The advice here is direct, but profound. You have to let go of the anger and resentment towards your parents. Holding on to it, it just harms you. It keeps the suffering going.
Right.
So the first practical step is fully acknowledging the karmic links. Not as blame, remember, but as an explanation. That itself can bring some peace. Then you consciously choose to focus on the good. They give you the most precious gift, really, a human life.
Yeah.
This life has allowed you to find the Dhamma to make merit.
Okay, focus on the positive foundation they provided, even unintentionally.
Precisely. And realize your parents are now in dire need. They're suffering terribly in those hell realms. The only way you can truly help them is by making merit now and dedicating it specifically to them.
So the merit making isn't just for his own path, but directly helps them.
intermediary realm, the Yamalak think of it as a less severe waiting area for when they eventually emerge from the Great Hells, which admittedly will be a very, very long time, but the merit will be there for them then.
Okay.
But more immediately, true forgiveness, combined with diligent Dhammakaya meditation, really striving to access that inner Buddha image. That's what can potentially ease their suffering, even now, Mahānārakum, and crucially, bring peace to your own heart. It's an active, ongoing process, turning that deep anger into compassion day by day.
That's powerful. Okay, this brings us to another really interesting part of your story, this nickname you've got, Steel Elephant.
Yes?
You mentioned feeling physically strong like an elephant. You enjoy collecting elephant tusks, and you actually feel happy when people call you Steel Elephant. Now, the steel part, that comes from the steel implants in your right leg from several accidents, right? But the name clearly resonates on a much deeper level for you. And that right leg has certainly been through a lot. First, back in high school, playing Aussie rules football, a hard tackle, a kick to the knee. The bone broke right through the skin.
Ouch.
Unbelievably, you had to bike 4 kilometers home like that, in agony. Took a whole year to recover.
Incredible resilience.
Then later, working in Germany, a church window actually fell on that same leg, left it permanently changed. And on top of all that physical trauma, in 1990, you got a colon cancer diagnosis, which you feel was linked to all the stress and resentment you'd been carrying.
Right. And the karmic insights connect these physical issues directly to past actions. It's quite specific. The 2 major leg accidents, they're linked to past karma from hunting for sport.
Hunting?
Yes. In those lifetimes, apparently, you used to set traps, dig pitfalls for animals, causing them injury, especially leg injuries. See the connection?
Wow, that's direct.
Very. And the colon cancer is also tied to past karma, specifically, the killing of various animals, and significantly, including elephants. The suffering inflicted then, it manifests physically in this life.
Elephants again.
Exactly. And this is where the web gets really intricate, linking back beautifully to your current wife and that steel elephant nickname. It turns out you and your wife have been husband and wife across many lifetimes. You've separated, come back together again and again.
Really?
Yes. And in one specific past life, during Thailand's Ayutthaya period, your wife was the daughter of a wealthy village headman. He was tasked with looking after an elephant belonging to a nobleman.
Okay.
And you, our listener, you were that elephant.
I was the elephant. Wow.
You were the elephant. And she, in that life, developed a deep, loving bond with you, the elephant. This explains so much, doesn't it? Her recurring dreams about being saved by an elephant, your own strong feelings about elephants, about Ayutthaya, that steel elephant nickname. It's far more than just a name based on leg implants. It's an echo from a deep shared past.
That is truly amazing, seeing how these threads weave across lifetimes. The elephant connection, the wife, the nickname, it just brings these karmic bonds right into the present in such a personal way. Okay, so shifting from that incredible past connection to today, let's talk about your current family and your spiritual goals now. Starting with your wife's youngest daughter, you had some concerns there.
Yes, and the insight here is reassuring. You and your wife do share past merit with this daughter. Enough shared merit, in fact, that it gives you the right, karmically speaking, to raise her. And there's enough collective good karma for you all to have a happy life together as a family. So yes, those worries about guardianship and her future, you can set those aside.
That's wonderful news for the family. Now, you also mentioned a very strong personal aspiration. You want to do a short-term ordination, become a monk for a period at Wat Phra Dhammakaya.
A powerful goal.
But you're 67, and because of those old leg injuries, kneeling or sitting cross-legged for long periods is difficult. That presents a practical hurdle, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. But there's encouragement here, too. The guidance is that you can ordain, provided you can manage the necessary periods of kneeling during temple ceremonies. The example given was about maybe 1.5 hours or so in the temple setting for certain rituals.
Okay, so it's potentially manageable.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
And this ordination merit,
yeah,
it's highlighted as being incredibly important for you. Why? Because it seems you and your wife have been separated from the core spiritual community in some past lives due to neglecting your practice back then.
Ah, I see.
So taking this step now, ordaining, it creates a very strong positive connection. It helps prevent that kind of separation happening again in the future, really securing your path towards those higher spiritual goals.
Right, strengthening that connection. And that leads perfectly to the final big question you had. As a foreigner, not speaking Thai, relatively new to the temple compared to some, what's the fast track? What techniques can you use to make enough merit to follow the Grandmaster to Dusit Buri? That special, high heavenly realm, a major goal for dedicated practitioners. You're looking for the most effective way forward.
Understandable goal. And the path, while maybe not a shortcut in the easy sense, is very clear. But it demands absolute dedication. There's no getting around it.
Okay, what does it involve?
It boils down to wholeheartedly committing to the three pillars. Dana, which is generosity, giving, offerings, charity. Sila, which is maintaining moral precepts, ethical conduct, not killing, stealing, lying, and so on. And bhavana, which is meditation, specifically focusing your practice until you access the Dhammakaya.
Accessing that inner Buddha image.
Exactly, that state of deep inner purity and knowing. So it means engaging consistently in all forms of merit-making, not just picking one. Practicing meditation diligently, relentlessly, until you reach that breakthrough of accessing the Dhammakaya. And crucially, once you access it, you have to maintain that realization to keep it firm throughout your life.
So it's not a one-time thing?
Not at all. It's maintaining that state. And alongside all this, you need to make strong, clear, consistent aspirations every single day to follow the Grandmaster to Dusitbury. With that level of unwavering, multifaceted dedication, generosity, morality, deep meditation, constant aspiration, then yes, that profound goal is absolutely within reach. It's about sustained, focused effort across the board.
That's a very clear roadmap, even if it requires significant commitment.
It does. And this whole story, it really brings up a key question for you, the listener, doesn't it? How do we take this understanding of past karma and actually integrate it into our present lives, our relationships, our own suffering? It's not about assigning blame, obviously, but about finding profound understanding and using it to make positive, proactive changes right now.
Absolutely. The story of the steel elephant, it really drives home that our present is this complex mosaic built from our past actions, right? But the future, well, that's being shaped right now by the choices we make today. Understanding that gives you incredible power.
The power to choose differently.
Yeah, the power to forgive, even deep wounds, the power to heal, and the power to consciously build a path towards whatever spiritual destiny resonates with you. Seeing how past hunting affects the body now, how past abandonment plays out, how love echoes across lifetimes, even in unexpected forms like an elephant, it makes it all so tangible.
It really does.
That journey from pain, from resentment, towards forgiveness and dedicated spiritual practice, maybe that's the most important deep dive any of us can really take. We definitely encourage you to reflect on your own life, your own connections, your aspirations. What echoes from the past might be shaping your present. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.